It's Sunday afternoon. I haven't done a whole lot this afternoon after my burst of energy this morning. One and two are right here eating. Well, one is eating and two is trying to eat. I was just reading through comments, so I thought I would address some of the comments in a video instead of just keeping answering stuff. Cow poop. My neighbor needs that cow poop just as much as I do to grow his soil. So that's been discussed, and he gave me all the hay, the burn barrel, the chicken wire, just so much stuff. So it's, I'm not expecting anything else, and I'm happy to do the babysitting of the cows, and they're happy to wander over to, well, and they've only gotten a few munches right at the corner of my property, so it's not like they're eating anything over here. But I'm more than happy to, just for the entertainment value alone, but the neighbors have given me so much already that I'm happy to help them out. And not to, they need their cow poop, so I got all that hay and more to come once I get this stuff unloaded and ready for more to come in. Another thing else that is I get a lot is, dude, why aren't you growing veggies? And there are many reasons to why I'm not growing veggies, but I like this answer. It's because people keep voting for the Democrats and Republicans who make it very difficult and very costly to sell food, especially as compared to flowers. There are a lot more food regulations to sell food than there are to sell flowers. And that goes all the way down to the county level. Every county is going to have their own health departments and health codes as far as their food environment goes. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, I'll try to put a link to, they just did an interview with someone who manages farmers markets. And it was a very long interview and went into detail about the need for liability insurance, the proper licensing, using properly inspected kitchens for some products. They have to be washed and prepared in a health inspected kitchen. So and that's in Missouri. And it's not the same in every county of Missouri. It's not the same in every farmer's market. So what's true for you out in California or down in Texas or on the East Coast in Connecticut is not going to be the same here in Yell County, Arkansas. So, that's a huge thing. It's much easier to sell flowers than it is to sell food. There's also a lot less competition for selling flowers than there are selling food. One of the memes going around the internet is that growing tomatoes is the best way to spend 3 months of your life in order to save $2.17. So I realize that's what all the other homesteaders are doing, is they're going out and they're growing all their, trying to grow all their food. And great, that's their situation. That's not my situation. I've got limited efforts, I've got limited time, I've got limited land in which I can plant on, and I have limited resources. So, everybody else has, they have their bases covered. They've already got enough income to go eat, rice and hot dogs every day if it came to that. So they're just in a much different situation. They're doing this so that they can grow their own food and know where it's coming from and know that it's healthy and not be contributing to, this big ag monster that controls all of our food. And that's wonderful. They should be doing that. I want to get to that point, but I'm not there yet. I need my limited time and my limited efforts and my limited space to make income. Once I've got my bases covered with income, then I can afford to spend time and effort and even some money growing some vegetables. I'm one guy. I have no freezer. I have a small, dorm refrigerator. I have no root cellar. I have no canning equipment. I have no canning supplies. I have no kitchen in order to do canning. And I don't know how to do canning. So even if I did grow all the veggies that I can eat for a year, I have no way of storing it. So that's another good reason why I'm not growing a bunch of veggies. I'm a single guy and I need my time and effort put on something that produces income, not something that saves me a couple bucks. So, you know, if a tomato plant takes up 2 feet by 2 feet of the ground, how much money am I going to save from that tomato plant versus what else can I grow in that 2 feet by 2 feet of ground that can produce income? So I hope, I realize I'm the oddball here. Everybody else is growing veggies and everybody else should be growing veggies. I'm the oddball here, but I think my reasoning is very sound on the subject. So other than some fun, like a Three Sisters garden, I will not be growing veggies. I've just got, there's not enough of me to go around. Containers. Well, that's something I am out of investment money to put into that kind of stuff. I would spend more buying potting soil to fill the containers with than I would save by growing food in containers. So, you know, and then doing all that work takes my time away from trying to keep the rabbits from chowing down on my gladiolas. Which is, you know, that's another comment. I'm going to have all kinds of failures and problems, and you know, I can't be wasting my time on stuff that is not going to produce an income for me. So I hope that's a good enough and short enough reason as to why I'm not growing veggies. In the future, yes, I definitely like to, you know, be able to have storage, you know. But it's going to be years before I'd have a root cellar. And I don't even have a freezer yet, so let alone a normal size refrigerator. 2 little electric hot pads, you know, you can't do canning on that. I don't even have a normal size stove. So I've got a cast iron pan, but I don't have a normal size oven, so I can't really condition it to get it going yet. So I'm going to have to spend some time in town doing that, and it's just, I'm probably getting off on a tangent. There was one more point I wanted to make, though. Bob is distracting me. He's rolling over right behind the camera. Well, yeah, in the future, I would like to grow my own veggies. I wouldn't mind growing veggies for sale at a farmer's market. But again, you know, people, they're shutting lemonade stands down. Little kids' lemonade stands. They're shutting them down these days. This isn't the 1970s and 80s anymore. We are regulated to the hilt. You know, even myself in junior high school, when was that? The mid 80s. I got my little lawn mowing business with my buddy shut down because we didn't have a business license. You know, it's just, you can't just assume that you can grow whatever you want, go to the farmer's market, and sell it without any hassle. That's just, it doesn't happen. It might happen here and there where they're lax and blah, 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 but you can't expect that to be the norm. There are a lot of regulations when it comes to selling food, even eggs. That was one thing they off-grid with DOUG and Stacy. In state of Missouri, to legally sell eggs, you have to have an egg selling license. It's a special egg selling license that you have to get. And so it's just, that's why no veggies. There's no money in it right now. In the future, there might be after I jump through whatever regulatory hoops are in the way, then yeah, maybe I can sell some veggies. One thing I can do is sprout veggie seeds and try to sell the plants at a farmer's market. But, you know, that's just, everybody's already, by the time the farmer's market starts, And I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to get a booth there, because that's another thing with these farmers markets. Some of them are funded by grants from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So there are federal strings attached to those grants as to how that farmers market operates. So, every farmers market is going to be different. And this year, I have to feel it out. I have to learn the laws, learn the regulations in this county, learn who's funding the farmers market and what strings they have attached. Liability insurance, they definitely require it for food. Do they require it for flowers? Do they require it for plant starts? All that kinds of stuff. So it's just much easier to not deal with the food regulations when you're just getting started. Save that for when it can create an income potential. Don't just assume you can grow veggies and sell them without paying out a lot of money. Did I mention container gardens already? Yeah, I don't have potting soil. I can't buy, a truckload of topsoil for that. There's no more money. I have to start making money, and that's why flowers, I think, are the easiest way for me to do that here with my capabilities and my skill set. I wish I could do carpentry and had all the tools, and it's another thing is, will farmers market allow you to sell birdhouses? That was an idea I had. Well, a lot of farmers market have strict guidelines on what can and cannot be sold. And for instance, one in this area, I will say, does not allow garage sale items to be sold, and they would consider a birdhouse as a garage sale item. So that's not something that could be sold at a farmer's market. And some of the junk that I might try to sell around here, nope, you wouldn't be able to do that at a farmer's market. Okay, I probably made this into a 20-minute long video. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's like low 50s, and tonight it might drop down into the 30s one more time, and then I might be the coast might be clear for me to start getting some of these seedlings I got started into the ground. Take it easy, everybody.